Hey there everyone, it's Kathy and you're back here on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, as many of you already know, and I'm in the beautiful state of North Carolina. But if you are not currently working with a demonstrator and you live within the United States of America, I can take care of your stamping needs no matter where you're at, including Hawaii and Alaska. You just have to be a part of the United States, because we have other demonstrators that live in the UK, Canada, some of the other European countries. So with all that being said, today I wanted to focus in on this all squared away bundle. You can still get this at the bundle price. It is in our catalog on page 117, and it is on our retired list, but it has not been marked down yet. I went through the list and I wrote an R beside everything that was retiring, and if it had a price change, I wrote the price in, and if it didn't, I just circled the price so that I would know. But you can get both the stamps and the dies for $45. That's the bundle price, which saves you 10% over buying the stamps and the dies separately. And let me show you what you get. Or what might even be better. I kind of showed y'all this card the other day. I think it might have been in my live. I can't remember. But I had worked with this. I did go back and put some little gems on some of these just to kind of jazz it up. I put a couple of the little brass butterflies here on my sentiment strip. But I went even a step further and I did a piece where I did a little paper piecing. And this is made the same way as that. The only difference is that I popped up my windows and the little flowers, and I kind of paper pieced over top of them. I didn't particularly like the way these turned out, so I'm going to do that again today, but I'm going to change it up just a bit that I think will make it easier. I haven't put a sentiment on the inside, but everything that I used here came from this bundle. So we are going to accept the Thinking of You. Yeah, the Thinking of You I got from another bundle, and I'll have to double check and see where I got that from. But anyway, the Good Things Grow Like Our Friendship, that was definitely from this bundle right here. Good Things Grow, and it's like our friendship. I really love the way this stamp set works. It is a cling stamp set, and you have these little let me try that again. Background stamps, and that's what I stamped this right here with. And it looks like I had background paper, when in actuality I just stamped using these 4 stamps, and then I went back and I cut my dies from these 4 dies right here. And I cut them out of just basic white cardstock, and then I just glued it over top. I apologize every time I do a video because I'm always sneezing, and I do apologize. The allergies, the tree pollen is really kicking here, and it's been extremely windy, which even makes it worse. And I haven't been outside. I normally stay inside. I take allergy medicines and nose sprays and all kinds of stuff to counteract this, and I still I would probably not be able to talk if it wasn't for the different meds that I'm on for my allergies. But nevertheless, excuse my raspiness and my sneezing. It is just part of the season, so it's definitely not the most wonderful time of the year. Anyway, like I was saying, we're gonna change this up a little bit and make a couple more cards today using this beautiful bundle. And you can see how you can make it look so different, even though I did the same layout, just by changing up the paper, the way you do it, and I'm going to show y'all how to do that today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to lay everything over here, and if you have the catalog and you want to look that up, again, like I said, it's on page 117. We are going to bring over our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and these will work with our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And yeah, these might be on sale. Let me double check that real quick, because these might have been one of the sets, and it is on sale. It says it's $40, regularly $45. Yeah, and that's correct. So it is 20% off of this bundle through Thursday, the 31st. And after the 31st, this will, the savings will go away. This will be on the retired list then. So I'm not sure if it's going to be marked down more than that after that fact or not. But anyway, let's go ahead and do some die cutting. So I'm grabbing my number 1 plate, my number 2 plate, a cut plate, which is a number 3, and another number 3 that we're going to use on top. And I am going to grab some cardstock. I'm just going to lay this in here. Something like this. And we're going to grab these dies, and I'm going to cut these out in, you know what, I don't want that color. That's right, I wasn't going to do these in white. I'm going to do these in this pretty pool party. So I'll tell you what, let's move this because I want to tape these down on here so I can reserve some of the paper if I need to. So I'm gonna tape this one down right there, and I'm gonna bring this one under. It would help if I put it in the right direction, which is face down. And we're going to stick that right there. And then I'm going to put this one right here. And they don't have to be perfectly straight on this paper because it's not a pattern paper. So it really doesn't matter for these. So we're going to put this one right here. And stick that right there. Now I can take this to my die cut machine, and I'll bring that back over so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just laying it onto my cut plate, and then I'm going to put this plate in, and this is going to make a pop because I'm going in with straight edges, and I don't like to do that, but sometimes it's necessary, and that always gives you a loud pop anytime you're going in with a straight edge. It's hard on your machine, it's hard on your plates, but sometimes it's necessary, and this is what we're going to have left. So I'm going to lay this over here, and I'm going to peel these off, and anything that stays on there be a plus, and what doesn't is okay. And then I'm just going to push this into my trash. Just like that. And we're going to go ahead and do some more die cutting while we have the machine out. I think that will be a good thing to do. But I need to cut this piece of Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to bring over my trimmer. And you know, sometimes you just don't have enough room on your desk to hold everything that you need to do. And this is definitely one of those times. I'm going to take this and put it into my trimmer at 5.5. Give it a trim. And then I'm going to cut this in half at 4.25. Just like that. What I want to do is I want to cut the same thing that I did just now out of this beautiful, bright, springy Granny Apple Green. I think that's such a pretty color of green. And I'm not even a fan of green. It's not my favorite color. But I think it's beautiful on the trees. But just not my absolute favorite by no means. But I'm just going to lay these back down on here. Let's peel them off of here. And I'm just going to go ahead and flick out any of the pieces that was left on there. And I'm going to tape that down. And I'm going to do the same thing here and here. I'm going to try to take this through at just a little bit of an angle. So let's turn it just a bit in that direction. And like I said, these do not have to be straight because it's not a pattern paper. So let's go ahead and just doing that little bit of an angle takes a lot of the stress off of your machine, and you don't get the same popping that you get when you go in straight. So that's just a good rule of thumb anytime you're doing die cutting. Okay. Now what I want to do is make sure I'm getting all of my pieces, and I'm just going to stack them over here. And we're probably going to use those dies again, so I'm going to lay them to the side and I'll pop out my little pieces again. Just like that. And we're going to do some paper piecing on some of these, which I think is going to be absolutely gorgeous. And this is an easy flower to do your paper piecing on. And not only that, it's a great way to learn to paper piece. So I'm going to come back in with my little pieces, and I think for that one I want some fresh freesia, and I'm going to cut the big flower, the little flower, this little piece, maybe this little piece, and that piece. So we're going to put our top plate back over, and we'll run this through. And we'll get these pieces off. I'm going to lay these dies right here because we're going to probably use those again as well. But here are our pieces. So I'm going to lay these over here. My little flowers. And my bigger flowers. And these cute little pieces that are going to be flowers as well. So we're probably going to come back and cut some more, but just not sure at this moment exactly what colors I want to use. So I'm just going to put my die cut machine back over here for right now. And I'm going to show you what I have in mind. On this particular one, I chose a piece of the hand-pinned DSP. This is a piece of Pool Party, and this is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. And I cut a piece of the pattern print from that, and this is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And what I want to do is I'm going to take these pieces out. Okay, I do have the fresh freesia. And what I want to do is I want to piece over top of these the little flower. So it will look like we have a fresh freesia flower, and you will have to move these around a little bit to get them on there correctly, but they do fit once you get that on correctly. What I would say do, once you get it, hold it, grab your glue, get that little piece off, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some glue and go around this flower just like that. And I know that it's going to go down like this because I held on to it, so I would know exactly where my thumb was at, and that's the way that'll go down. And look how pretty that is. You can wiggle it around just a hair. That one is done. And so now we'll go to the next one, And here we can choose if we want to go with something a little darker or lighter. I love that Daffodil Delight. So let's grab a scrap of Daffodil. And I am going to cut, I think I'm going to do Highland Heather. I should have grabbed my scraps before we started, but in hindsight it's 20/20, or so they say. And it's okay. We'll bring this little scrap up and we're going to cut Daffodil Delight and Highland Heather for these two flowers. So I'm going to grab my little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I think I'm only going to need my cut plate, so I am going to move some of these little scraps of paper off to the side. Let's go ahead and open this little baby up. See how small this one is? It fits so nicely on your desk, and it's really neat to have it when you just need to cut a little piece of something. So I'm going to lay this down on here, and I'm going to grab the small piece and the large one, and I'm going to cut that right there, sandwich that together, and let's go ahead and that slipped off. I should have taped them down, but that's okay, we'll get it. Now this little machine does everything that the big one does. It just does a mini version of it. So if you are in need of a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and your budget will allow you, this is on sale right now, and it's on sale for $48, regular $60, but it only goes through the end of the month. So if you are interested in picking up one of these, now would definitely be the time. So let's move these over here, or here. Let's just stick them back on the machine. That way they're not in our way. And I'm going to bring over my liquid glue, and I'm going to just go around here like so. And then I'm going to press this into that glue, just like so. There's our purple one. And then this one's going to go right here on the smaller flower. And I'm going to tell you why I found an easier way to do this. With that first card, or that second card I showed you, this one, I actually cut everything in white. And then I went back and cut these out and cut them apart and pieced it. That was very difficult. I would say do it this way if you have the ruthers to do it. This is a much easier way to do this, I think. And I think I'm going to cut 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. Yep. We're going to cut some little squares to go behind these, which I think is going to really add to this card. I was going to do them down against the flowers in the back, but I really think that it would look so cute with just a little bit. And actually I think I want to cut them at 2 by 2. That'll give us 1/8 of an inch around the outside, which I think is going to look adorable. Alright, so let's bring this one over. And I need to decide what colors I want this one to be. And this one doesn't have a flower per se. I think we'll do this one like this. And let's grab I did the bigger one. But I'm not seeing it. Let's see if it's still in the die. Nope. Alright, we're going to have to cut this one again because for some reason, I always look under my chair, check my puppy dogs to make sure they're not on them, because that does happen quite often. I have looked for stuff and then looked down and it would be laying on top of my Toby or Bella. Now that is very strange because I know I had that cut. Okay. I knew that I did. I set this down on it and it actually picked it up. So let's see how this is going to go. Again, like I said, you have to kind of finagle your flower around and around until you get it where it fits on there perfectly. Nope, not quite. Not quite. Okay, like that. So once I get it where I know that it's going to fit, I'm going to hold that just like that, and I know that it's going to go down on that corner. So I'll put my glue on. And I know that one goes right there. So I'm going to lay it right into the glue, matching up my petals. And then this one is done. Except that one, and I really, I'm not sure about that one yet. We'll readdress that in just a moment. All right, the other one, we've got 3 of them done. Now we have this piece. And I'm going to go ahead and pop out all of my little individual cutout pieces. And there's some little tiny pieces in there, so you might have to take your pick tool, and you can just pop those out like that. And this does come, the take your pick tool does come with a brush adapter that you can buy separately, and it makes great for brushing out really intricate cuts. Now these are not intricate cuts, these are very basic cuts. So now I'm going to grab my little flowers, and I want to put these on here like that, like this. I'm probably going to need a little bit more of these flowers, so we might cut a yellow one. I'll tell you what, let's do a yellow one. I think we got enough of a space. Well, maybe not. Okay, I'm going to just grab another piece of my Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to lay that on. I'm going to go ahead and clean out this little die because I've got multiple pieces in there. And here. I'm just going to cut this right on the top corner. to go one step further. I'm going to pull these off. There's my little flowers. And I am going to put this back on. And that little flower that's a little on the wonky side, I am going to try cutting it just like that. I'm going to straighten that up because you see what I'm trying to do. I'm just wanting to get, let me bring this over so you can see. I'm just wanting to get that little flower right there. So I am going to push this through. You know what I did? I got my plates crooked. You always want to make sure your plates are going through straight. And then we can take this up, take this out, and that little flower right there is all that I want. So I'm going to grab my paper snips, and I am going to trim that little stem off just like that. And I'm going to come across the top right here, and I'm going to trim that straight across just like that. And now this should fit right on top of there like that. Isn't that pretty? I love that. So now I can go ahead and glue this piece down. And then that one is done. This one's done. This one's done. So now all we need to do is finish our little flowers. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool for that. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there. A little bit there. A little bit here. And a little bit right there. And then I'm just going to pick these up and set them down. And scoot that down just a little bit. That's why I like to use the liquid glue. It gives me a little bit of time to get that position just like I want it, just like that. And then we're going to put this one here. And this one okay, we need another purple one. Fresh Freesia. What I'm trying to do is center up with the hole over top of the hole. It looks like we're going to need a little bit more glue around this one. And then set that right into there. And I think that's going to be perfect. So there are the ones that we're going to use on this card. But I think what I might want to do, I'm going to cut 4 2-inch squares out of this piece right here. So let's move all of our pieces up there. So really easy to cut your 2-inch squares. You're just going to do 2 and 2 and 2. And that one's going to be just a bit short. Yep. So that one we're not using. We're going to cut 2 more inches off of this. And 2. So now that we have those 4 pieces cut, we have a backdrop now for these little pieces. Oh, so cute. And these are going to be really easy to put on. I am going to grab a silicone craft sheet, and I'm going to grab another bottle of glue that has a fine tip. And so I'm going to bring a piece of this over, and I'm just going to run a bead of glue right around here, all the way around, some in the middle, these leaves, and then we are going to bring this over, and all we want to do is square this up evenly. So it's going to be a tiny border, we know that, because it's just that 1/8, so that gives us like a 1/16 inch border around there. And I think this is going to really give us a good backdrop on that particular piece of paper. Isn't that pretty? Very soft, very delicate, but it definitely does speak. Alright, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these glued down, and we'll meet right back up. I am back, and I got all of my pieces adhered to the white, and I think that looks so pretty. So let's bring our card base back over and our mat. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm only going to use 2 of these. So I think I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to lay these 2 to the side. And I think what I want to do is I want one of these. Let's concentrate on just our mat first. Sometimes it's easier to work with your mat and get everything on it like you want it. And then you can go ahead and put everything down. What I did is I went ahead and I thought this would look cute with 2 pieces like that. And then I cut another 2-inch square of white, and I cut a fresh Freesia at 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 and glued that to this, stamped happiest of birthdays to you. And we are going to put this down right in the middle in a diamond shape. I also cut some more of these little yellow flowers, and we're going to decorate that with that. Let's go ahead and get these glued down, and I'm just going to use regular glue. What I do want to do is make sure that I'm showing a little border of that designer paper, top and bottom, or top and side. Press it. I'm going to do the same thing with this one, only this one's going to go in that bottom right corner. Upper left, bottom right. Same thing, I want that little border to show. Press it. Now this piece is going to go right here at an angle, just like that. And I think this would look much better popped up, so let's go ahead and pop it up. Let me get some dimensionals. I'm going to put one on each corner and then one in the middle. I think that will give us the stability that we're looking for. I'm going to make sure that I'm holding this at that angle that I want it. And I want to make sure that I'm getting it nice and straight. So I'm using the edge of the green, both top and bottom, just to make sure I'm getting it right there where I want it. I like that. I think that's very, very pretty. Then I'm going to come back with a dot of glue. And I'm just going to pick these little flowers up and set them right into the glue. Just like that. Now this whole piece is ready to go onto the base of this card. So again, I'm going to use liquid glue. And then we're just going to lay this down. I'm getting our edges straight. And then give it a good press. Just like that. And then all we have to do to finish this card off is put a piece of white cardstock in here and stamp a sentiment or write a note, and that card is done. So let's move on to our next one. The next one, I want it to be more of a darker card, so I chose a piece of the Mercury glass that's in our catalog, and that Mercury glass is actually on sale or on retirement. It is going to retire, and I'm going to show you what page it's on. It is on page 135, and it's right down here in the bottom corner. So it's not that easy to see it, but the Mercury glass was regularly $11.50. A pack of that is now $6.90. Another great time to grab that. All of our designer series paper that was in the catalog is on sale, so you may want to go and take a look at that. Some really good bargains to be had. All right, this one, trying to decide if I want, maybe I don't want the Mercury glass. I don't know, I really like that on there. But now the question is going to be, what color do we want to use? And that's definitely not it. So I'm going to put my plates in. Let me move everything to the side so y'all can see what I'm doing. This is such a versatile little set. It doesn't look like it would be, but due to the fact that you've got so many ways that you can use these beautiful little pieces. Let me get this green out of the middle. There we go. So I'm just going to lay this on here like so. And I'm going to pull my plate and then crank that through. Then we're going to release this using the little dots that are your release dots and pull that off. And let's see. Still doesn't show very well, but let's see if we think I'm going to cut the 2-inch squares out of here and see what that looks like. I did want to do one of the Night of Navies using this beautiful green, and we may just do this one, a very basic one like that. I think that's very pretty, and we can go back and put some color on our flowers, and I think that would be adorable. So we'll hang tight to that one. I am going to grab some Daffodil Delight. And let's go ahead and cut some of our 2-inch squares. There's 2 of them. I think I can get one out of the middle of this. I do my best not to let any cardstock go to waste. So I cut out of middles of pieces that I've die cut out of to get just exactly what I need. And that one's not big enough, so let's look in my scraps and I'll pull one more piece. And we'll just cut this down at 2. And 2. And now we have our 4 squares that we need. I need to go back in with the Night of Navy and cut 3 more of these. So we've already done that one. So let's see if we can get another one out of this piece. Yep, that should work. Now this one should be ready to release. And there's that one. So I'm going to grab another piece of Night of Navy. I'm looking up here to see if I have a piece, and I do. So, you know what, let me check my scraps. I think I've got some smaller pieces in here that I can use. There we go. And let's see if we can get both of these out of here. This one. And this one. Yep, I think we can do it. So I'm going to get all of my crumbs off of my acrylic plate. And just run this through. Again, that's harder to push through when you're going on a straight edge, but it was necessary for me to get that piece to cut like I wanted it to. So that piece is cut, and this piece is cut. So the only thing we need to do now is brighten it up with some flowers, and I want to do some pinks and blues and yellow. I think that would be really pretty. So we're gonna grab this piece of yellow, and let me grab my little pieces, my little flowers. So let's do this one in yellow. And let's go ahead and do some of those in yellow. Again, I'm using up as much of the scrap as I can. And this is a great set to use for your scraps. Now, I had that to slip just a little bit. There we go. So we got those cut, and what about some pretty pink? How about polished pink? So I'm going to put my flowers off right here, and I'm going to put the polished pink up there. I think I'm going to use this little one again. And maybe this one. How about the little one and that one? I'm just going to go ahead and put the cover plate over and crank it through. Those pieces all cut beautifully. Now we need some blue. So let's grab a Balmy Blue. And I'm going to cut all of these out of the Balmy Blue. And we have all of these cut. I'll go ahead and push these off. I think those colors would be really pretty with that Mercury glass. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and let's bring this back in. The first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and glue these all to here. Make sure before you glue it down that you've gotten all of your little die cut pieces poked out. I'm just going to lay this out because I want to see how it looks after I get everything on before I commit to gluing, things down. So all I'm doing is just piecing these pieces onto the flowers just to kind of get an idea of how they're going to look. And I think that's very pretty and colorful. I think I like that. So I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to glue everything together, and then we'll meet back up and we'll go ahead and put this card together. Be right back. Alright, I have all of these adhered and I have all of my flowers. I did have to go back and recut, and remember when you're using this die, you're going to have to go back and cut just that flower and then trim it out and put it onto your piece. So this is exactly what I wanted. So now I can bring this over, and I adhered my Mercury glass down using some Stampin' Seal Plus. And what I want to do now is I want to decide how I want these, and I think I want to pop these up on dimensionals. So there's two reasons why I'm doing dimensionals. One is I don't want to put glue on the Mercury glass, and two, I wanted these to be popped up. I wanted them to, let's move that one over just a hair. Don't want those hanging off of the side. Those two are ready, so now we need dimensionals on these. There, and now we can go ahead and pull our backers off of these and get them positioned, and I'm going to bring them together, and I want to get them directly over top because these are 2 by 2 and this Mercury glass I cut it 4, so I know if I stay within the perimeters of that Mercury glass they're going to need to be together. So very simply going to pull off my backers. And I'm going up to the top corner and just line it up. Then I'm going to do this one. And this one I'm just going to bump it right up to this one and then set it down. And that's just how simple it is to put these on. Just lift these off like so. And again, I'm doing the same thing down here. I'm lining it up with the side and the bottom. And the purpose of me showing you this many cards is I just wanted to show you all of the different looks you can get from using this set. It is absolutely a beautiful set, and I've had it for a while and had not used it. And then one day I was alphabetizing everything and I thought, this set is adorable. I have got to use it. Now I cut a strip of yellow that is 4 inches by 1/2 inch, and this is going to fit perfectly with this piece right here. So I grabbed the sentiment out of this stamp set that says, "You are so worth celebrating." I like that because then we can put a big happy birthday inside, or we can just be a encouragement card. You know, I like to have cards that I like to call any occasion, not all occasion, but any occasion, because I can transform them into what I need them to be. So I'm going to grab a longer stamp block, and I grabbed my Night of Navy because I want to keep that Night of Navy theme going with the yellow. And then I'm coming in right about here and stamp. Beautiful. So now I want to decide if I want to cut or use one of my punches. And I want y'all to know that a lot of our punches are on sale. So if you are interested in getting some of these beautiful punches, lovely label Pick-a-Punch. I can't remember if this one was or not, but this puts a beautiful little edging on your piece. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Put it up in there and punch. And you have this beautiful little border edge on it. And we'll do this one. And that makes that decorative and pretty and just gives it a little something something. And I think for this I'm going to run just a piece of Stampin' Seal. You could also use your two-sided tape. The tearing tape would work really good here. Whichever you wanted to do. That looks really pretty like that. So I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. And then I am going to put this right in the middle. And press. Let me check and see if this one is one of the ones that was. This one is the lovely label Pick-a-Punch. This one is coming back, so that one is not retiring. The Treasured Tag Pick-a-Punch. this one right here, this one is retiring. And it is on sale for $11.50. So I knew one of these was, and the other ones were not. So I just wasn't sure which one. So there. All right, now we need to put some gems. I'll tell you what, let's wait. We'll do all the gems when we finish. Let's pull this one over. And this one, I think I'm just very simply going to put these down on here. Something like that. So I'm just going to use some glue. And make sure you do your edges. And I'm going to put this down. This is also 4 inches. No, this one, yeah, it is 4. So I'm going to go to the bottom and the side and put that down just like that. Do the same thing to this one. I'm going to go ahead and get these glued down, and then we'll meet back up. All right, we got everything glued down and all of our flowers are on and adhered to our mat of Night of Navy. So I want to put a sentiment in the middle here. So I'm going to measure, it looks like we can do about 1 1/4 and have a border, or maybe even 1 inch. This is my sentiment, and this is right at 1 inch. We're going to do 1 1/4. I think that'll work out really good. So I'm going to cut this to 1 1/4. And I'm going to use this side of my trimmer. So now I can lay this in here. Yeah, I think I like that. So what I'm going to do is I want to do Happy in a lighter color. So I'm going to use my Granny Apple Green just to kind of tie everything together. And this Happy Birthday comes from Biggest Wish, and I'm using the Big Happy and the script, the bold text, and then I'm going to use the script Birthday, and we're going to stamp over top of it. I think it gives it a really good effect. So I'm going to tap, 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 load my ink up really good, and then I'm going to go in right here in the middle. And do Happy. I am using my Stampin' Pierce mat because I'm using a photopolymer stamp. Very pretty. And now I'm going to follow that up with Birthday, and I want my birthday to go right over top of my word Happy, just about like that. And we're going to do that in Night of Navy. So I'm going to pick that up, and then we're going to ink it up. And then I'm going to stamp it right over top. Maybe we'll go a little bit at an angle. That'd be cute. Oh, I love that. That looks so pretty. And now just to give it a tiny bit more of an oomph, a little something extra, I'm going to use my tailored tag punch. And we are going to cut. This works really great for getting your little flag. Now what in the world is my printer doing? All of a sudden it just started for no reason. That was weird. So once I get that right where I want it, I'm going to lock this punch down and punch. Gives us that nice little flag on the end, and it does it so good. Why not use a punch if you got it? So now we can bring this back, and I did choose a polished pink card base to put this all on. I just think that it pops with the pink that we've got in the flowers. And then let's lay this in right about there. I really like that. I'm going to pop the birthday, the happy birthday up with some dimensionals. And I'm going to scatter these, you know, up and down, sort of like that, to get a nice even amount of them across. And I need my take your pick tool. We're just going to pull these off. And now we're going to put this in the middle and set this down right about there. Now all we have to do is adhere the entire thing onto the back of our cardstock or our card base. So I am going to use some Stampin' Seal. And that should be perfect. If you have a lot of spring birthday cards, I think this little series would be perfect for you, because we have got, look at all these beautiful cards that we've done using that set, and yet everything looks totally different. So there's 5 cards that are done with the same set, but they all look totally different just by choosing a different cardstock and what cardstock you use to cut out your flowers. So here we have the designer series paper. We only used 2 of our cut-aparts, or not our cut-aparts, our dies. And then we did a little diamond shape in the middle that was beautiful. I am going to go back and put some gems on some of these because I think they need it. So I am going to pull, I think this one I'm going to use these rhinestone waves. This came with the new set that came out, the Waves of the Ocean. What was that one called? Something Waves. Waves of Inspiration. This was bundled with this stamp and the dies, and these are so pretty. You've got aquas and greens and a very pale blue, and then you've got some deep blues, and I think it'd be perfect for this particular one. So that's the one with the navy. So I'm going to go in with my take your pick, and I'm going to grab the darker ones, I think, or maybe this. I love this one right here. This is actually like my birthstone, like an aquamarine. Let's put the blue on the yellow flowers. And maybe the pink. Oh, I'm just going to do it on all of them. I think they're so pretty. It just adds a little bit of oomph to these little tiny flowers that are kind of understated, but once you put a little bling on them, they become a statement. And I'm going to use this bigger one, and this is a green one right there. And I want to do another large one. I'm going to get this darker blue to go on this one. And I think that is good. I might come in and grab one of these larger dark blues and put it right there. That is so pretty. Don't you love the way that turned out? And again, all I've got to do to make these work for me. Now this one we've already done. And this one here I've already finished. So now we have these two that we need to put some gems on. This one here, I think I'm going to use my diamonds. And this one, I think I'm going to use these dark blue ones. So let's do a dark blue right there. And here. These I want to use some tiny little diamonds, so I'm going to get the rhinestone, the basic rhinestone gems. These are always so pretty. And I'm going to use these tiny ones, and we're just going to come in and put a little bit of bling right there in the middle of each of these beautiful little flowers. And I think I'm going to do the bigger one right here and right here. And then that one is done. And the Mercury glass paper under that is just stunning. I love that. So we're going to put that up there. Now for this one, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm only going to use some of these rhinestones, just the basic. This card doesn't need a whole lot. We've got the designer series paper back there that's giving it a beautiful look. So I am going to just set one of these little rhinestones right in the middle of those little flowers. And the good thing about our gems, they come with adhesive on the back, so you never have to worry about, you know, fumbling with glue dots or anything. They're already on for you. Such a pretty set of cards. So let's clear this off. And I want to bring my cards back over now that we've got them all done, and hopefully they're going to fit. Maybe we'll do these over here, put this one in the middle here, and these two about like that. Let's see if I can scrunch everything into camera shot. Might have to zoom out, oop, wrong way, just a little bit to get these all in. And I'll do those like that, and I think we can see them all. Aren't they gorgeous? I think they turned out so pretty. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make these and put them together. It was so much fun. So if you're interested in purchasing this particular bundle, reach out to me. It is on sale right now, but it will go off sale this coming Thursday, March the 31st. So you want to grab it while it's on sale if this is something that really interests you. And it's such a beautiful set and very overlooked in the catalog, I think. So thanks again for tuning in. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Until we craft again, bye-bye.